glass can help us getting these children visiting for education. And in the last, I would like to say that, as in the starting I said, that it was a wonderful learning experience for me, and the data is being used by the authorities nowadays. They are considering this my research work as a Bible, that this is a very good work, because I provided them with a list of all these children who are still out of school. I must say here that in the recent household survey, ma'am, the district authorities, they projected that there are only 10 students in the whole district were out of communities. But after this project work, their eyes were opened that these many number of students are there in single city. So what is the scenario in the whole district? And they have been comparing the state of Haryana with the Rajasthan. You might be knowing that in last year, in 2010-11, it was revealed that they have been projecting that they are having around 1 lakh out of school children, but after a very extensive survey, the report came that the Rajasthan district itself is having more than 12 lakh out of children students. So this is the situation more or less in all the states, and we need to improve this situation. And being the educational officers, and now being the most learned people in our state after going through this diploma, it is our responsibility to meet out the challenges. I'm thankful to the learned faculty and all of you, and I invite your queries and questions about the presentation. Thank you so much.
I now request the expert to ask any question that after going, since we have already gone through the presentation submitted by Dr. Balhra, that was time for you.
Well, I must congratulate you on your wonderful work, and within the limitations that you work only for 3 months, so to have an expectation of a level of a PhD would be misconstrued, and therefore I don't expect that. However, I thought that it's not pointing out shortcomings, but it's something about that having seen your project, having seen your work, I thought that if you had, are you not aware of societies like the Right Because Education and Development Society based in Bangalore, called RITS, which has been working in this area for the last, to my knowledge, more than 30 years. And I have had the privilege of working with them prior to the promulgation of the National Policy of Education. I went to see what they are doing, what kind of problems they are facing. So, as a background, it would help you when you start working further on this area to have find references to them and what they have done and how they have done. So, with regard to Right Because. And then in 1984-85, the Ministry of Human Resources, at that time Ministry of Education, came out with a document Challenges to Education. It's a pink covered book, very intensive, soul-searching document that has come out, which points out the problem, and even today you are, or we are, still groping to solve those problems. The National Policy of Education was built on that, Challenges to Education, in the sense that how to overcome those problems. Somehow or the other, if you look at it, you will find that the challenges that you are mentioning here have been mentioned there. The bigger the problem of the beggars. I have myself worked in this area. So, right, because the children involved in street begging, in fact I ran at Satyasai, I ran a school for them. for those children who are waiting on the street lights here in Delhi. So then one point that I still have a lurking doubt. I don't have any evidence, empirical evidence, that the class conflict among parents for children of coming from weaker section and area, it is more a creation of the school authorities rather than the parents.
Definitely, I agree to that.
So they are finding it a useful tool to protect their interests. And then the challenges that you have mentioned, they call for adapting education to respond to those challenges. Instead of we educationists taking reports that, well, these are the problems and these are insurmountable problems in the current situation. The educational planner and administrator has to look that how the I would say main dramatist person is the learner, and entire thing is for him or her. So the policy, the document, the act, the educational administrators, the scheme, they all become subservient to that. They are for serving that people, for bringing that person into the gamut of education and development. Mind you, I am saying education and development. I am not only education. I am saying education and development. We have to bring this whole thing, and therefore, whatever scheme we have, it has to adapt to local circumstances, local problems. For instance, you made a mention of transportation in the urban areas. In some states, they have provided cycles for rural children or especially girls, etc. in Bihar, to cycle to the nearest station.
Even our state started it.
Yeah, Haryana also did that. So the problem is, the whole issue is, the child is the personally dramatist, right? So child-centered approach was the key word that was used in the national policy and the later documents and Ramurthy committee reports. So I would have loved to see the mention of those literature which have already been in existence, which have pointed out these problems. In that perspective, if you had examined that the provisions are there, the policy is there, the directive is there, and still the problem is persisting, then why? Is the question. The question, and your finding would go a long way to substantiate that there is no need for a fresh policy, or there is no need for a fresh program or scheme. The lacuna lies in its implementation, sincere implementation. So, to conclude my remarks, I find it to be an excellent work. Within the framework of limitation, within the limitations that you people are working, I have been associated with this program for now 2-3 decades, that you are not a full-time research scholar. You are not spending 2.5 years solely for education, working as we did long back, some 60 years ago. So, to expect that level of insight or that level of intensity would be naive of me. But I must congratulate you that you have tackled the problem. You have looked at it very seriously. And you are already a PhD in biology
In education.
in education. So you might like develop it further and take up a research, further research in this area, not for a degree but for project like kind of thing. I felt very encouraged to see that you have done such a splendid work in such a short time. And some of the things that you have mentioned here, particularly parental, empathy or parental, that need to be addressed. And since you are in SSA, Rohtak, I would love to see that Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan addresses this problem that you have found out
We
here.
already started parent awareness programs at our own level in the district.
No, I mean, awareness, I am not entering into a discussion like at this moment, but I would certainly feel that if Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan physically intervenes in the sense that each child must be admitted and the principal or the headmaster is taken to task if the child is not coming to school or discontinues for a reasonable period of time. What has happened? I'll give you my own example. I started, sorry for, but it might be.
No,
this is a very.
Sir, privilege, sir.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
Right. You see, if I be knowing that I am one of the pioneers of non-formal education in this country, and the definition that I provided for non-formal education in India, operational definition, became the pillar on which the non-formal education policy, national policy of education and education is based. So, I worked in remote tribal areas, experimented with my ideas, established non-formal centers, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in different regions. And then very recently, not very long ago, about 4, 5 years back, I became senior faculty after my retirement and working with Jamia. Then I joined Satyasai International Center for Human Values. And there